All right, I need to record a video for my channel because it's just been too long and, putting a good amount of work into my channel as well. And so this video is going to be a quick one. It's about tariffs. We just have to talk about tariffs. They're probably the most important concept in markets right now. You've definitely heard about it. You've definitely seen it. There's no question that you're saying tariffs. What the heck are they? Long story short, it's just when a country essentially puts a fee or a tax or a cost on the goods of other countries. So if other countries try to sell things to that other country, well, the other country now says, well, it doesn't cost $1 anymore. Actually, it costs two because we're now charging you $2 just to do that. Now, what I'm going to do here is pull up a chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And the reason why I'm going to do this is I want to talk about something very important. Now, in the United States of America, tariffs are not exactly the most common thing ever. In fact, you've probably seen this before. You've probably seen headlines, articles, radio shows, TV shows, financial shows. Everyone's been saying, well, the last time tariffs happened, that was the Great Depression. And look, they're not wrong. I'm going to show you, but they're also definitely not right. Because what I'm about to show you, I think, is like people are just cherry picking headlines and data points. They love clicks, they love sensationalism. If you want to get clicks, if you want to sell advertisements, you got to get people looking and talking. And also, markets are great at just causing fear. Doesn't matter what the topic is, but when there's a moment to strike, markets love striking when it comes to fear. You can just feel it and see it. So, anyways, here's a headline from Barron's as an example. Trump's tariffs are the toughest since the Great Depression. The dangers we've forgotten. More importantly, the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 choked off trade just when the world economy needed it most. Now, I've seen these headlines, like I said, everywhere. Literally, they are, yeah, they've really got the markets jittery. But what I think is important about that, actually, before I show you this next chart, you can actually see what happened. Markets have bounced a bit. You can see that right now we're here, right? We were up here and here when things were getting really good. But if you just do a quick price range calculation, the Dow was down almost 20% peak to its bottom. I think it was down just about 20 if I really arrange it correctly. But the point is that, yeah, 20% in literally like 2 or 3 months, a very quick drop. People were talking about that this is like the next great, this is the next Great Depression, all that jazz. So now here's another chart I want to show you. By the way, I'm going to get to a really good point here. This is very important. Stick with me because what you're going to see here, I think, is going to surprise you. So here's another chart that's just been going absolutely viral. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this chart. So this chart shows when the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act got passed. See this arrow? It got passed. Market spiked, I guess. That's interesting, spike. Because wait till you see what I'm about to show you. It gets good. And then markets just crashed. That's the Great Depression. That's 1929. Everyone freaked out. That was sort of the start of it all. That's what everyone's referring to. That previous headline, 1929. But why are they starting the chart from right here? So if this is 29, the peak, and then the crash, this is probably 28. So why are they starting the chart from 28? Does anybody know? Because if you start the chart from 28, you conveniently block out what is the most important information about tariffs, which hopefully my drawings are still here. Let's go all the way back to the 20s. They are great. Which is that, ladies and gentlemen, you got it. The most important tariff act in our nation's history was actually first put into place in 1921. And I want you to look at this chart of what happened in 1921. It happened right around here. Look at this thing. I mean, are you kidding me? How do you ever see that in the news cycle? The Emergency Tariff Act of 1921, which was put in place to basically help farmers, help the whole agricultural industry. They were getting squeezed. People from around the world were just dumping their agriculture on America. Big, imagine the big wooden, steel ships, whatever they're using at the time, dumping grains. There were no tariffs on them. American farmers couldn't compete. Similar to what we're seeing now, and then they did the Emergency Tariff Act of 1921, one of the most sweeping, comprehensive tariff acts ever. And it saved farmers, it saved the agricultural industry, it kept things going. And yep, are you looking at this chart? I sure am. You can see if we just let's just start from a middle point. Let's not take the exact lows. We got a 385% rise. 385%. How come no one is talking about that? Why is that not mentioned ever? People love to admit data for their own narrative, their own self-serving interests. I think if you're in equity markets and you manage money, you want markets to crash. There's record cash on the sidelines right now. I mean, this is like it's amazing what's going on. To me, in my opinion, full on psychosis that we just witnessed. I think that there was just full on psychosis. No one was actually doing the research. So, by the way, that's 1921 Emergency Tariff Act. Now, you may have just noticed. Let me delete all this. There was another massive tariff act in 1922. So, I'm not just cherry picking just one data point. I'm talking a year later, there was another, the Fordney-McCumber Tariff Act, which layered on even more tariffs on other country goods and other goods. And lo and behold, oh my gosh, we went on a run again. Let's just say here it is, November, I believe. It was November 2022. So I could be wrong. It was sometimes. Let's just see, 277% gain. Then you get Smoot Hawley right around here. So I'm not saying that any of this is bull market, bear market, but what you can see if you do the research is that if you just can't cherry pick the data, it's not fair, it's not accurate, it is deceptive, and it's not good information, in my opinion, to make decisions on. Now, keep in mind, all of this is my opinion, just my research, it's my education. You got to do with what you will. None of this is talking about buy or sell. None of that, right? Just that's not what I do. I just like to talk about markets, think deeply about what's going on in the economy and the world and how price in markets is reflecting that. And this is just so fascinating to me. I just don't think this story is told enough. That there were two massive tariff acts in the early 20s and a subsequent enormous bull market. So when people show you that headline about the 1920s and all that, it's just not fair. It's not actually factoring in the data. There are so many nuances there. Oh, one more thing I forgot to tell you is that when I was doing this research as well, while there were no new tariff acts in this area from about like the 23 to 25 area, they did impose price limits on certain goods around the country. So they actually kept the tariffs flowing a little bit right around here in 1924 and 1925. And if anything, they were increasing them. I know. I can't. It's just fascinating. Go to ChatGPT and type in any of this if you're interested to learn more. So now here we are today. Now I think today is quite interesting with that in mind. And the last thing I do want to layer on this moment that's just so fascinating to me is consider now for a second that we do have AI actually. And if you think about AI being a 10x multiplier across every single asset or every single industry, that's huge growth. Now, we haven't seen 5% growth since the 1920s. 5% growth, I mean, 5% GDP growth. You need a revolutionary technology to accomplish that. The car helped every industry. Doctors could travel faster, nurses could travel faster, lawyers could travel faster, agriculture people could travel faster. It just sped everything up. So it was a 5% plus GDP growth moment. AI makes computation faster, coding faster, calculation faster, healthcare faster, research faster, data processing faster, advice faster, consulting fast. It's mind-boggling. It's everything. And I'm wondering if we just actually got a huge tariff fake out by a bunch of really bad news sources, people who didn't do their research, followed by now what is potentially a massive productivity boom in AI. So I'll leave you with that. So thanks for watching, and I'm happy I could update my channel.